There we go. Back to the old days of doing things. Let's check that out. Let's see how this works out today. I'm sure the wind is still going to be whipping across the lake as soon as I turn the corner. It would almost be a surprise if we didn't have a day without wind here. I think if I look back through the history, it's always been a little blustery, especially in March. Well, especially every month of the year, but March is, and the wind's just coming directly out of the south today, so strange. Gonna have to run the gamble on my up water. If you remember that conversation from the other day, I'm gonna have to turn the up water on to take care of some water in back there. Forgot my vinegar also. I had a chicken out this morning, which put me in a bit of a tizzy, so I came running quick because I don't know how in the world anything could get out. It must have ran out the door when I didn't see it, and it must have been out all night because I just can't for the life of me figure out when it could have got. They couldn't have got out of the cage that I built. I'm sure it's not bad for the health, but I've already done significantly more walking than I needed to do this early in the game. I had a lot of other projects that needed my attention, but you remember we talked about getting the chicken water in a better container. So I'm going to get a water and make sure they've got a more steady, clean supply of water. And I still didn't grab my vinegar. I think before we clean the water out, we will go and try to check out my girls a little bit, see where all the calves and things are. See one there, and where the other one's all holed up by its mom. See if number 7's ready to go yet. Number 9 and her calf over there, and the rest of the ladies up there. So now we got to find number 7 and check on her. Everybody's just loafing around. I'm not really sure if Miss Helen got bred or not. And I don't think number 6 got bred. Although I haven't seen any sign of anybody being mischievous. They just don't show very much sign of being pregnant either. So is that my fault or theirs? I don't know. Number 7, you did this last year too. You let your old teats swell up the size of, I don't know. They were huge. So everybody just taking it breezy here, soaking in some sunshine on March the 12th. March the 12th today. Nice, beautiful day. The wind is blowing, but it's a beautiful day. And we got to get you girls off of this mess, don't we? What do you think, little girl? Little Daylight? Daylight savings time, baby. We call you Daylight, don't we? Maybelline, your calf was a little more energetic. She's a little more sprightly getting up at it, wasn't she? She was bouncing around within minutes. It was a warmer day when yours was born. There she is, pretty little girl. So we got Maybelline and CoverGirl. And this one will probably be some makeup name. What it is, we don't know just yet. I'm all over the place. Now that's just some leftover water from where I was cleaning. I was going to distract them, but maybe I'll let them get their fill. Still trying to figure out where that chicken got out at. I guess there is a chance that it either got out the door or it could have roosted up there and gone out through there. It could fly out there. It's not likely, but it's possible. So I guess if I keep them in here for very long, I'm going to have to clip them so they don't try to fly up there. I just don't know. There are no holes. So it either, like I said, it either flew up there or it somehow got past me when I went out the door. It's a mystery. Okay, ladies, I should have got a cap. I didn't get a cap. So we're going to have to use the old finger to plug it up. You guys have already kicked some dirt in it. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. We done moved the camera out of the way. We got ourselves a mess, don't we? There isn't a whole lot of science to this, so we'll let that catch up with itself a little bit. Pour that in there. Spin you around on the downside a little bit. There we go. There's water right there. Oh, it's running everywhere. I'm making a huge mess. Where's my lid? Okay, so now we know we got to have the cap. That didn't work out. So, I was trying to do too many things. Sometimes you just look like you haven't figured it all out. Because anybody who's filled one of those up knows you got to have the small cap on and quickly put the black one on, or all your water is going to come splooshing out of there. So trying to put the vinegar in there without the proper caps and things, that was not going to be a good result. You know, and I was hanging out with my little toddler grandbabies yesterday, and there's a couple things. I mean, we're supposed to have a childlike faith, a childlike dependence on God. And I thought about Matthew 19:13-15. Then children were brought to him that he might lay hands on them and pray. The disciples rebuked the people, but Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for to such belongs the kingdom of heaven." And he laid his hands on them and went away. So I don't want to subject you to too much of the wind, and maybe I have some personal videos I can throw in here of me and the grandbabies yesterday. But let the little children come, and the kingdom belongs to such as these, that we should have a childlike faith, that we should have an utter dependence on Christ, just like those little babies didn't look like they were dependent on me yesterday, but surely they had some dependence on me for safety. Even if they didn't know it, they might seem pretty independent, the same as we seem independent, but they surely depended on me for safety, and I surely depend on Christ for safety. Outside of the health benefits of walking back and forth, I think I got to come up with a better plan. The water's a little bit of an issue now because I had to turn it on to get what I need to do here. Then I'm going to have to go back and turn it off, so it's just not running. Plus, it'll probably steal from the downside, and I won't be able to fill the cow water. Plus, I probably should go fetch another. Maybe there's one here I can steal. I need to get another Rubbermaid tote container water. What do you see? My brain's not working. It's just too much walking. As much as it's probably good for me, it's also like I gotta be efficient with my energy so that I can get all these things done. And I had a big list today. I had a big list of things I wanted to get done, and the day's blowing by me. I was starting to get a little bit concerned that maybe I didn't keep the right one, or maybe you were cut after all. But I think I see a little evidence behind you this morning. Not going to get that on camera, I don't think, for the kind folks, but I do believe you have all the parts necessary for producing babies. I don't remember what day we put this in here. Was that last week? Was that at the end of last week we put this in here? So he drank maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 gallons of water or so since I put it in here. And instead of corn or grain this morning, he's going to get the benefit of some slop that we had from the kitchen. Some breads and some chicken bones and eggs and taco meat. He's gonna get it all this morning. You gonna like that, aren't you, buddy? You gonna like that, aren't you? Is that you, big boy? Stop trying to get in here. That boy over there rubbing on that wall. He don't have no business over here, does he? Is that good stuff, bud? Should I let that open? It'll help to give him a little breeze across there today. I'm gonna have to make another trip, come back out here. But I gotta put the chickens away at night anyway. They're not here, but they're a few hundred feet back at the other last buildings where the chickens are presently. Not that far, but am I just complaining about walking today or what? I'm sure we're getting sloppy pig munching behind us. So maybe this isn't the best place to have the talk. What kind of problems are you having in here? Huh? You can't just be rubbing all over stuff. You trying to itch all that hair off? I'm about to lock the door and not let you come in here. I'm going to steal that water right there too, because you've got one down in the field and I'm fixing to go fill it up, but I'm going to take this one to the girls because they drink a lot now and you not so much. Just to give you some idea of how much water is coming out of the ground. Of course, it's been on, I don't know, 30 to 60 minutes now, and it must be coming out of the ground right here somewhere, I suspect, and taking itself down through that pasture and making a little creek down the road. So it's pretty significant. That's a 2-inch line buried under the ground. So I suspect somewhere right here, somewhere, I'm gonna have to get a machine and dig it up because it has big, like 2.5 inch gravel down there. So, and it seems like more than just a little, something rubbed it. It seems like it blew completely apart. It's spring, but everything's still barren, and that wind whipping across the fences and the trees just gives that whistle. Sounds like you're out west on the prairie or something. You don't really typically associate that. Of course, this looks real barren right now. I got to get the chickens in here and get some things. That pen we can probably just get the chickens on and get them to recover. I need to get the cows moved around, and this pen is going to take a complete recovery as the sacrifice again. I need to reseed and do some significant damage control after a couple of years. I know some grandparents who are still very active with their grandkids, and this is no statement to the amount of effort and activity that Melissa and I put in, but I do wonder how many grandparents and how much of society has moved away from grandparents being active in the especially spiritual education of the children. Unfortunately, I didn't look up all of the references, the cross references. Maybe I can and put those up there if I have time, but there are plenty of references in scripture where there is generational education. I think this is especially important in this day and age, that grandparents should not shirk the responsibility to be present in the lives of their grandchildren, and more than just planning for retirement, more than just planning for vacation visits, but active in the theological discussions, active in planting the seeds of Jesus Christ, the truth of the gospel, putting all that before all these grandkids from a very early age, because we know that the parents are super, super busy these days. And of course, we could have a discussion, and maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We could have a discussion about how busy we should be and where our priorities should be. But the way it stands now, it takes 2 incomes to live with everything that America has to offer. We can discuss whether we should have everything or not at another time. But there's significant income is needed typically to provide for the family. So if both parents are busy and maybe the grandparents are in a better position, well, certainly they can help take some of that load. And even if the parents aren't busy and the grandparents are, there's still a lot of responsibility and a lot of learning that can be had by being grandparents that are active in the development of their grandkids. Got a fella dropping off an American kestrel nest box, and last year they nested in the house, and I know at least one of them succeeded to leave the nest. After that, I don't know, but they were here for quite some time, making quite a lot of ruckus, and that was right there at the house. So maybe the nest box will provide them some better opportunities away from the house. And I'm surprised that they survived the fall out from the top of the house, and I hope I don't have to put the nest box that high. Those old maple trees behind me have seen their day. How much wind is blowing across that right now? The wind's coming directly out of the south today, so that probably means whatever that system was that was coming from the west, and we're on that front quadrant of it going into the weekend. I saw some rumor that there was going to be some potential for bad storms coming through the end of this week. So I don't know, maybe here, but I haven't looked at the forecast for a couple of days. Not sure that I got right into the topic or not about how we should be like little children. Those are the types of people that inherit the kingdom, not in our maturity, but in our dependence to God, that we would be dependent on Him for our every need. Let the little children come. As grandparents, we should be in a position to both teach that lesson and to let the little children come to us. Let them be all around us. Boy, we don't have the same amount of energy we had in our 20s, but there's still a lot to offer. I had 3 2-year-old babies, toddlers, with me yesterday, and it whipped me. It whipped me pretty good, but it was a glorious time. And as I look back at the pictures and think about the memories that I had, what do they got? It's not like I'm having great conversation, but developing their little smiles and developing a friendship with them so that later on I can have discussions about faith with them. And we just have a little greenhouse, 12 by 80, and we haven't used it for quite some time, but we're trying to get back to it. And we had another lady get some plants started for us that we can just bring them here and start to establish our presence again. And we've got a couple heaters to try to heat this space and be in a better position going into this winter and into next spring to be a full bore greenhouse again. To be honest with you, I didn't have a script today, and I'm not sure if any of this made any sense. I was just highly impacted by being with the grandkids yesterday, thinking about the grandparents' responsibility to continue to educate, continue to spiritually develop the grandkids, not just the parents, not just leaving it, well, my job is done and stepping away. We still have the opportunity to impact these lives. And I pray every night that Melissa and I can be a people that would be an influence to these grandkids, that they would pursue Christ in their lives. I've been distracted today with some personal issues that are going on, and I look around, the snow's gone. Remember a while back I told you when the snow was on, you couldn't see the messes it had. The snow's gone. I can see how much cleanup I still need to do. So I'm going to prioritize this driveway to be top of the list. Well, the kestrel box has arrived, and I think I have a pole out there in the field that we can mount it on, and that'll be interesting to monitor throughout the years. He said it takes a couple years before they start seeing any action. So we'll see. I had a tremendous plan for today. I had a lot of things on my to-do list. I was going to get a lot of things done. And it just is not happening. This day is practically over, and I do not know, other than feeding and watering some animals, I don't know what I've accomplished. Maybe I can get on this list in the afternoon, but I'm gonna have to leave you all behind to get that done. So whatever we talked about today, grandkids, being with your grandkids, submitting ourselves before Christ, just try to absorb something out of that. I don't know what, but be like little children. Have a dependence on God. Depend on Him. Like those little grandkids that are running under your feet. They depend on you. You put forward good lessons for them, above and beyond what their parents have. Set a good example. Love y'all. I got work to do.